Intellectual, learn to die. Chapter 1. In quotes. But what hells, what roasted vultures, what sizzled coyotes does this imply? Silver Cane, Karadura City. The last time I saw Master Ijo Takata was in a modest house in one of the overpopulated suburbs of Mexico City. There was a room and a kitchen, no more. I had come there seeking consolation, my heart broken by the death of my son. My pain was so great that I did not even notice that half the room was filled with cardboard boxes. The monk was busy frying a couple of fish. I was expecting some sort of wise discourse on the nature of death. We are not born. We do not die. Life is an illusion. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Do not think of his absence. Be grateful for the 24 years when he filled your life with joy. The divine droplet has returned to the original ocean. His consciousness is dissolved into blessed eternity. I had already been telling myself such things, but the consolation I sought in these phrases had given my heart no peace. Ijo said only one word in Spanish. Duele. It hurts. Then, bowing, he served the fish. We ate in silence. I began to understand that life goes on, that I must accept the pain instead of struggling against it or searching for consolation. When you eat, you eat. When you sleep, you sleep. When it hurts, it hurts. Beyond all that, there is the unity of the impersonal life. Our ashes must merge with the ashes of the world. Then it occurred to me to ask him what was in the boxes. My belongings, he answered. They've loaned me this house. They might ask me to move out any day. Here, I'm feeling good, so why shouldn't I feel just as good somewhere else? But Ijo, this place is so small. Where do you meditate? He shrugged indifferently and casually gestured toward a corner. He needed no special place to meditate. It was not the space that made meditation sacred. It was his meditation that made the space sacred. In any case, for this man who had cut through the mirage of opposites, the division between sacred and profane had no significance. In the United States, in France, and in Japan, I had the good fortune of meeting a number of other Roshis. I even met my master's master, Mumon Yamada, a very small man with the energy of a lion and hands as delicate and groomed as those of a lady. The nails on his little finger were more than an inch long. Yet no one could ever take the place that Ijo had conquered in my heart. I know little of his life. Born in Kobe in 1928, he began to practice Zen at the age of 9 and in the monastery of Horyuji, under the direction of Roshi Haikisoken, the head authority of the Rinzai school. Later, at Kamakura, he entered the Shofukuji monastery founded in 1195 by Yosei, the first monk to bring Chinese Zen Buddhism to Japan. There he became a disciple of the Mamon Yamada of the Soto school. The life of these monks aspiring to enlightenment was very hard. Always living in groups, deprived of intimacy or privacy, they ate little and poorly, worked hard, and meditated constantly. Every act of daily life, from how they slept to how they defecated, adhered to a strict ritual. A monk must sit with his back straight, keeping his legs covered by the corners of his robe, looking neither to the right nor to the left, never speaking with his neighbors, never scratching his intimate parts, making as little noise as possible when excreting and accomplishing the act quickly, because others are waiting their turn. The monks of the Soto monastery must sleep on their right side. No other position is permitted. The monks of the Rinzai school sleep on their back. No other position is permitted. After living in this way for 30 years, in 1967, Ijo Takada decided that the times were changing. It was useless to preserve a tradition by remaining closed up in a monastery. He decided to leave Shofukuji and encounter the world. His determination led him to embark for the United States, for he desired to know why so many hippies were interested in Zen. He was received with great honor in the modern monastery in California. A few days later, he fled this place with only his monk's robes and $20 in his pocket. He reached a major highway and began to hitchhike, communicating mostly with gestures because he spoke little English. A truck carrying oranges picked him up. Ijo began to meditate on the odor of the fruit with no idea where he was going. He fell asleep. When he woke up, he found himself in the immense city that is the capital of Mexico. By a coincidence that I would qualify as a miracle, he was seen wandering in the streets of the city of more than 20 million people by a man who was a disciple of Erich Fromm, the famous psychiatrist who had recently collaborated with D.T. Suzuki to publish a book called Psychoanalysis in Zen Buddhism. This man was so astounded that he could not believe his eyes. A real Japanese monk, robes and all. He stopped his car, invited the monk to get in, and ferried him off as a treasure to be presented to his students in Mexico City. Maintaining a jealous secrecy regarding Ijo's presence, the group set him up in a small house in the suburbs, which was transformed into a temple. Some months later, Ijo learned that before meditating, these psychiatrists took pills to help them endure with a beatific smile the hours of rigorous immobility. He thereupon bid them farewell and never returned. By a series of coincidences, which I have described in La Danza de la Realite, I had the chance to meet this master. Seeing that he was homeless, I offered him my house, inviting him to transform it into a zendo. There, the monk found his first honest students, actors, painters, university students, martial art practitioners, poets, and so forth. They were all convinced that through meditation they would find enlightenment, the secret of eternal life that transcends that of the ephemeral flesh. It was not long before we realized that Zen meditation was no game. To sit very still for hours, striving to empty our mind, enduring pains in our legs and back, and overwhelmed by boredom was a heroic undertaking.